Okay, good morning. Happy day 2 of our manifest event. Thank you so much for being here. Hi to everybody on the recording. Thank you guys on live with me. Thank you for showing up. I hope you had an amazing day yesterday, and I hope you let me know in the chat if you saw the synchronicities, if you saw the numbers like we were talking about and saw evidence of things working in your favor, because that's sometimes, I posted yesterday on Instagram, and sometimes we're manifesting something, which, by the way, that pure like thought or intention of I am manifesting something signifies and affirms that there is a disconnect, right, between the thing. You don't have it in your physical yet. So anyway, sometimes when we're working towards something, we're becoming our best selves, all the things, it's hard for us to sometimes see, what's the word, like evidence of it in our world. And then all of a sudden you look back and you're like, oh, right, this is crazy. I've like transformed. So pretty cool. So let me know if you see evidence, if yesterday you saw some evidence of your desire or your goals working in favor for you. So say hi in the chat. And even if you're on the recording, yes, it was so weird. Yay. Say hi in the chat. And if you're on the recording, say hi in the comments. Okay. Tell me where you're joining from. I know Rachel's in Costa Rica. Pretty sure Kyle's in, are you in the States? So today's a big day. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. It's one of the bigger concepts that I learned from Bob Proctor. So we're going to talk about paradigms and programs. Let me know if you did the homework yesterday. I want to know. Yes, USA. Awesome, Kyle. Did you do the homework yesterday? You guys, tell me. The homework was basically journaling out all your desires, your goals. Like, what do you desire? If all things are possible, what do I desire? That was the homework yesterday. I actually thought of this last night. I want to do a little giveaway for everyone who does the homework. Okay. So all 3 days, we're going to have a journal exercise. Like I said yesterday, I am a big fan of writing. Like, that's just how I process. I just get it out of my head onto paper. I write, I create my reality on paper. Okay, Rachel. Awesome. I create my reality how I want to see it on paper. Okay. And I practice that each day. So we're going to talk more about that in a little bit here when we really get into paradigms. But that is such a powerful practice, is that journaling. Okay. I really, truly journal and write every single day. So Kyle said, yes, wrote it out. It was hard to be super big and specific, but started with it. And the negative hows came up too. Okay. That's awesome. This is what we're going to talk about that today. And I have a little exercise for us to do. This is huge, right? So, I mean, you get out of this event what you put in, right? I hope that you guys see that. And I hope that you see that your transformation is in your hands. So I can't change your life, but I know that this material has helped me to transform my life, and I know it can help you to transform your life. So what we're going to do is, you'll see it in your email, and I will do a giveaway for those of you who do all 3 days. I want to give away a 1-hour coaching call with me to the person who does, one of the people who does it. Okay. And I'm going to get you to post them in our Think, Believe, Achieve Facebook group. So if you're not in there yet, let me know in the chat and we can find the link for you and get you in there. Okay. So everyone, even on the replay, sorry, one more thing. This is for you as well. So I'm going to do, you have until Wednesday night at midnight to post, and then I'll draw the winners on Thursday in the morning. Okay. So you have some time to do it, but like really do it thoroughly. Okay. Not in there yet. Okay. I'll grab you the link. So yesterday I shared a little bit of my story. We spoke about decision-making. We spoke about goal setting and how to set a proper goal. I want to kind of expand on a couple of things here, because as I got up, I was like, oh shoot, I totally meant to say this. I forgot to mention this. And I know that I'm always exactly where I need to be Each of us are always exactly where we need to be. We can't really, I don't believe in failure. I don't believe in messing up. Everything leads to the next, right? So I wanted to mention this today. Our spirit is always for expansion and fuller expression, period. Okay. Something I've personally seen and personally experienced. Let me know in the chat if you also have experienced this. When we don't have a goal, or when we don't have something to look forward to, that's when like we have these thoughts of unworthiness, depression even. Our spirit always wants to expand and grow. I personally, when I don't have something, and I've recognized this since a child, right? I've always loved to have something to look forward to. And I do truly believe that this is our human nature. Okay. Some people think maybe they're not a goal setter. I'm not a goal setter. I'm not a achiever, and that's okay. Right. But I'm pretty sure everybody, there's even a little tiny part of them that does want to achieve, does want to grow, and want to do cool, bigger things, have more fun experiences, make more money, have more freedom, all the things. I'm sure there's even just a little speck of something in there, right? But I'm pretty certain that there is a bigger chunk of them that thinks they can't. They're not worthy, right? They, like, all of the things, just like Kyle said, like these things come up after we set these goals, after we feel into these desires, these other beliefs come up. Okay. So excuse me, you guys, I'm fighting off this like head cold, chest cold. So that's my perspective anyway. I think that everybody on this planet that is a human wants to grow and get better. Their spirit is always for expansion, full expression. Okay. So I was listening to an audiobook the other day. I've got something in my ear listening to something on Audible. And I don't exactly remember which one, which is horrible, but the quote was, "The poor don't need bread, they need inspiration." Okay. And that really got me. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Because there's so much, around charity work. I personally have been involved in, I have a nonprofit. I've been involved in giving and receiving as well, right? I've been involved in both sides because of my past with my single mom situation, right? And so it's really interesting. And I truly believe that this quote, "The poor don't need bread, they need inspiration," that's where I was back there in No Daddy Lane. Remember that time? If I didn't have inspiration, if I didn't have the mentorship I had at the time, if I didn't have the community I had at the time, if I didn't have the awareness of the social platforms I had at the time, I would still be there, right? And so okay, giving somebody something, of course, people need to eat. People need food, like they need food, they need clothes, all of these necessities, but that is only temporary, right? So the poor don't need bread, they need inspiration. If we can teach a man to fish, he'll never go hungry a day in his life, right? That's where this is coming from. So that's what we're here to do. Okay. I used to have this belief that, especially being here in Costa Rica, I've been here almost 4 years now. And at the beginning, my business was going great. And then all of a sudden I took like this little downward motion in my income. And I was questioning, like, why is this happening? And often what happens is we allow our 3D world, like we've been talking about, we allow our 3D world to impact how we feel, how we think, what we believe, and how we act. Bam, right? So I was allowing my perception of people in Costa Rica, different family members that are my partner's family, I was allowing their perceived perception that I had on them to impact me. Okay. And so that's why when people go to really poor places, it's hard to feel like, oh, I'm so abundant. And do you know what I mean? You're kind of picking up what I'm putting down here, but here's the cycle, you guys, that I finally realized is that I spent a lot of my life bringing myself smaller, like staying small. And like, I wanted to not disrupt anyone. I wanted to I didn't want to make anyone feel bad because I had more than they did. Or I didn't want to make anyone feel, one time somebody told me, you're too much. And I took that personally at that time. I was like, oh my gosh. But I realized like, I'm not too much. I'm too much for that person. And that's okay. Right. So just interesting. But I want to introduce you to this cycle that I think we all really, truly need to understand and to grasp. Okay. The more we each grow, the more we tap into this limitless potential we all have, the more we work on ourselves, the more we step into our wealthiest self, the more we XYZ, right? We grow, we step up, and we become and transform our identity, the more we can serve. Okay, the more the capacity we have to serve, the more attractive and magnetic we are to our desires, the more magnetic we are to our clients. The more I serve, the more we serve, the more we grow, right? Because it pushes us to expand. I see this so much in the coaching industry, actually, where people grow to a certain level and then they cap. Why would they cap? There is no cap, right? There is absolutely no reason to cap. When they cap, it's a block, it's a paradigm, it's a governor. Remember we talked about the governor yesterday? So interesting, right? So I firmly believe that we all have a duty. Like we all have this, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, we all have like this responsibility to grow. And the more we grow, the more we can serve. The more we can serve, the more money we make. The more money we make, the more we can serve through expanding our own energy and becoming more of ourselves. We're going to talk all about this tomorrow. And the more money we make, the more we can actually serve in giving away our money, right? To foundations that we really, truly stand behind. Interesting, right? So this is the cycle that not too long ago actually really solidified. Wow, I am here to do big things in this lifetime, right? And I know all of you are too, right? Maybe you haven't realized it yet. And so the more you grow, the more we serve, right? So if we choose to not grow, if we choose to subscribe, excuse me, if we choose to allow our paradigms and our programs to keep us where we are, sorry, dying over here, ginger tea. Okay. So if we allow our paradigms and programs to keep us stuck, keep us small, keep us safe, keep us comfortable, we're actually like hindering not only our own growth, but our ability to serve. And so I did a post though, like a couple of weeks ago, and it got some pretty decent interactions. And it was interesting, but it's the reactions of people are just, it just shows me where their paradigm is. It just shows me their point of attraction. So it's really interesting. And so what I said is that, poverty is a choice. Okay. And that's pretty abrasive. And I think it's not just poverty is a choice, period. It's like poverty is a choice, right? We can choose to stay in that space of lack and limitation, of victim, all the things of like actual like poverty, the poverty mindset, or we can grow. Okay. So we can surround ourselves with incredible people that are personally ascending, right? And so you see it all the time. You see like people that come from like the poorest regions around the world, all of a sudden just like they have just these incredible breakthroughs, right? These incredible stories. And so I truly believe in this, and I know that not everybody does, and that's okay. Poverty is a huge thing in itself, and I'm not going to like disregard any aspect of it. It's massive. But I do really feel like the more that we can get louder and we can get bolder and we can become a better version of us, the more we can impact more people. Okay. So this is interesting though, like, lost my train of thought because I just got a message. So I want you to decide right now that you are you a goal setter? Are you a goal achiever? Are you somebody who is always working to get better and to be better? When we can step into that best version of ourselves, we can create ripples all around the world. We'll notice that even just in our close friendships, we'll start to shift, right? We'll start to maybe inspire them, or some of them will start to repel them. That's happened, right? Has that happened to anyone here? It's interesting, right? So anyway, when we really truly decide, and I want you guys to take a second and think about that. Like, am I a goal achiever? Am I a goal setter? Am I here to progress and get better? Okay. So if yes, let's talk about paradigms. So we are spiritual beings with an intellectual mind in a 3D physical body, having a human experience. Okay. This is a big concept. It's really pretty basic, but it lays out that, some people think that manifestation is mindset. I personally don't think that it's mindset. I think it does have a bit to do with mindset for sure. But manifestation as a whole, the way I teach it as well, and the way I live it, is definitely kind of like a 3-tiered process, right? It's spiritual, it's intellectual, and it's physical. It's not one or the other. It's all three. And this is also, when we're operating on all 3 planes, this is bringing the masculine and the feminine together, okay? Spiritually, we're tapped in, turned on, right? Intellectually, we're thinking and using our higher faculties. We're going to talk about in a second. And then physically, we are in our body. We are moving our body. We're taking care of our body, especially when we are growing. And if we want to grow and expand, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Self-care and self-love is the catalyst in that growth and expansion. Okay. So our intellectual mind has 6 higher faculties that no one else on this planet has. Okay. The animals are not thinking about, anything. They're not thinking about, I wonder, what would happen if that tree, blah, blah, blah. Like, what would the world look like if it was pink? Like all of these things. Okay. So faculties, our 6 faculties are intuition, imagination, perception, will, reason, and memory. Okay. Most people don't know this, or they don't take time to understand how really important this is. Okay. Animals, just like Bob Proctor says, animals are completely home in their environment. Cows in the field, they'll stand there in the field in the pouring rain and not move. They'll just stand there. They're just like happy chewing their grass, having a time, spending their entire day in that field. Okay, humans are completely lost in our environment. Imagine being outside in that field with nothing in the pouring rain. We would not be comfortable. We would not be happy. So we have this ability to imagine and to create. Think of anything we can see in our physical. Okay, so anything at all, everything came from a thought, from somebody's mind. Okay, somebody's imagination. They were like, man, if I could just create something that water could go inside, so I didn't have to go to the watering river thing, to the water hole every 5 minutes when I was thirsty, right? Just an example, silly example, but everything came from somebody's imagination. So I want you guys to think of, I use this analogy a lot because I think it's fantastic. The Wright brothers with the airplane back in like pre-1900. So crazy, right? Imagine all of the negative feedback that they got. Imagine these little boys just like trying to fly various objects and building airplanes at such a young age too. Imagine what everyone said, that's never going to work. Who are you to figure that out? Like, well, airplanes can't fly. That's not logical. That doesn't make sense, right? So we're going to talk all about being logical tomorrow. Something I really get fired up about, actually. So we have the ability to create anything in our mind. Okay, so I really want to drive this concept home because it's so important. Anything you wrote down on your paper, you can create it, period. It's done. Okay. In fact, it's already done. All you need to do, just like I said, manifestation is the realization of the wish fulfilled.
basically, right? There's so many different like little translations of that, but those what you wrote down on paper are already done. They're done in your fourth dimension. Remember the 3D is expired. Tonight creates tomorrow. My post last night. Okay. And so if you're looking at your paper and you're like, how is that going to happen? I'll never be able to do that. Like, I'm not this and that enough. I don't have the resources. I don't have the time. I don't have the money, all the things, all of those things. It's garbage. It's ridiculous. It's garbage. Right. And I'm not saying like you're broken for thinking those things, because all of us do. Okay. But what I want you to understand is that those things you wrote down are already done. You need to get in the energy of receiving them. Okay. So when you're looking at them, you're like, ooh, this is going to be so good. We're going to talk about this tomorrow when we're talking about closing the gap. Okay. So I will stop there, but it's just, I want you to know that they're already done. And these beliefs, let's work on them. Okay. So let me just wait till my roof flies off. Hopefully you can't hear that. It's so windy here. Okay, so the mind has two parts. Give me 1 sec, you guys. I'm going to try something that I've not done before. Who can share? Let me see. I wanted to show you a little drawing of the mind. I don't know if you can. There we go. Can you see that? Let me know if you can see my whiteboard little circle drawing. Yes. Okay. So who's familiar with this? Kyle, was it you that said you were familiar with Bob Proctor? If you are, then you would have already seen this before, probably. So this is basically a little drawing that Bob Proctor received from a friend way back in the day of the mind. Okay. So nobody really knows where the mind is and what the mind is really. Okay, so I personally think that everybody feels like their mind is in a certain space or something of their own. Okay, so I think that's totally right. Intuitively, you say, okay, my mind is here. It's in my head. It's my brain. It's that area. That's cool. Lots of people say that their mind is in their heart and their chest, their solar plexus. Okay, so this is basically a breakdown. We have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. The conscious mind can either accept or reject any idea. Okay, I want you to really think about this concept. It can accept or reject any idea. When you're going throughout your day, the majority, if not 99.9% of people, are accepting every idea they see. They turn on their social media and they accept. You on social media are basically downloading all that information, and so much of it is false. Like that's not a picture of someone's kitchen. That is somebody who is like heavily cleaned their kitchen and it's just not real. It's photoshopped, all the things, So we are, as conscious beings, as human beings, we have the ability to accept or reject any idea through this conscious mind. The conscious mind is like a sieve. It's like a strainer. Okay. So when we accept an idea, it goes into our subconscious mind and becomes a thought, belief. It can become a belief and it can contribute to our paradigm. Okay, so what we are looking for, we will find. What we are looking for, we will find. If we are looking for confirmation that life is happening to you, you don't have enough money in your bank account, like nobody XYZ, like all the things, we're going to see that in our physical. That's going to be shown to us, and we will continue to accept those beliefs. Okay, so once we start to stir up the paradigm, we start to challenge these beliefs, and we then start to reject ideas. I reject ideas all day long. I very rarely accept an idea. When talking with a friend, when talking with like anyone, opening up social media, I'm like, reject. I think that's all crap. That's not, nothing. I don't accept anything that doesn't serve my 4D in my head. What I see in my mind, my reality. I think I said this on a live in the Think, Believe, Achieve group, where I was like, I recently started a coaching business. And I was like, that sounds weird. That feels really strange, because this is not new to me. I've been coaching for 8 years in the physical, but also this is the first time I went on my own, is the thing. But it's been so real in my fourth dimension. I've been living in that space for so long that when I said recently, I was like, recently, I don't know if it's the right word. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's that what's real is in my fourth dimension. Okay. Think about that. It's not like, I'm not saying like I'm, we're all crazy living in the imagination all the time, but yes, what's real is in my imagination. Okay. Someone asks, how much is your coaching business earning, for example? Do you want to know the real answer, or do you want to know the physical 3D answer right now? There we go. Okay. So we have an ability to live from that imagination, that space. Okay. So coming back to the mind, conscious mind accepts or rejects. Subconscious mind only has the ability to accept. It accepts all day long. So we need to be very diligent of getting to know our mind. We need to study our mind. Okay. And really, this is the work, is studying the mind and getting to know our own behaviors when it comes to our accepting or rejecting. Okay. Subconscious mind has the only ability to accept. It accepts everything. Okay. So here's the thing. This is where paradigms and programs come from. When we were a little tiny baby, even when we were still in the womb, our subconscious mind was wide open. Okay. And it is accepting every idea coming from our surroundings, our parents, our family specifically. It is accepting everything as fact. Okay. So this is really tricky, but those of you that have children or will have children, this is such a powerful concept to understand. Okay. I watch my words and my actions like a hawk. Like I am on it, right? Because I know my subconscious, I've reprogrammed so much of it from my childhood and the way I grew up. Crazy, right? Subconscious, I think it's wide open until something like 7 years old or something. So the child has no ability to reject ideas. It just accepts all day long. So I want you to think about that for a second. When you were writing down your goals and desires, those beliefs, those old expired beliefs that came up, where'd they come from? Get really clear on that. Like a lot of mine came from, wow, I recognize so much about my childhood. I'm not saying it's like bad or it could have been worse, all those things, but it's just awareness. That's all it is. It's awareness. Okay. And so the subconscious mind, wide open, children are just downloading. We don't have enough money. We can't pay rent. Oh, that's too expensive. No, you can't do that. We don't have any money. Everything. Okay. It doesn't even have to do with just money. It's how, we see ourselves, how we show up in the world. Some people teach their kids certain things are very bad or whatever, all sorts of different things. Okay. So interesting stuff, right? That's subconscious mind. So that's where our beliefs, that's where our programs happen and are created. Okay. So it doesn't stop at age 7. It's still happening every single day. And we are solidifying. So some of those beliefs in our subconscious mind, I think of them as they're calcified. They're in there and we need to literally stay the course, decide what we want, and we need to unpack those beliefs. We need to unpack those beliefs and really choose. Do we want to keep them or not? And we need to go in there literally every time we're working on it. And every time we recognize that, oh, that belief is not serving me. Guys, throughout my day, every part of my day, I have a note in my phone. I always have tons of notes in my phone. When a belief comes up, I'm like, oh, where did that come from? Why do I feel that way around that thing? And I write it down and then I journal on it later. I unpack it and write it out. And then I use, what's it called? The tool that I'm going to show you in a second. Okay. So conscious mind, subconscious mind. This is basically, these are the 5 faculties at the top here. This is our body. How do I get out of this whiteboard? There we go. Okay. So I hope that you see that. So when we are, this is another big one, is because our perceptions are created, our beliefs are created through our subconscious beliefs and patterns and programs, every interaction we have in every day, it goes through that filter. Okay, it's kind of like we have that filter on over our eyes. We have that, we have that point of view, right? We're seeing everything. Everything we're seeing is through that lens of our paradigm. Okay, so really cool and interesting stuff. So like I said, what we want to see, we will see through the law of assumption as well. So we can manipulate this through, first of all, changing ourselves, changing our identity, changing our paradigms, and choosing different thoughts. Okay, so when we're going throughout our day, I want you guys to really get clear on that and understand, like, what is that? What is that thought? I don't know if I want to accept that anymore. Get curious, right? And take ownership. Okay. So another interesting thing is when we have situations show up in our life, when we have certain interactions, this is really cool. And it's a really cool thing to analyze and get clear on, is when we have those situations, we, for some reason, manifested that. Okay. Everything we see, everything we experience, we manifest. Okay. How many of you have ever, let me think of an example. You could use the example of a parking spot. This is an easy one to manifest. I'm always manifesting parking spots whenever I'm driving, which is very rarely, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to this place, I'm driving my car, and I am like visualizing in my head, I'm like, there's going to be the perfect parking spot right up front, and I'm going to pull right in there, and it's going to be like perfect. And pretty much every time it happens. Okay, so we're getting in the energy, we're feeling we're believing that the wish is already fulfilled, we're acting in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, and therefore it's happening. Okay, so just like I said yesterday with the flights to Guatemala, like that's a similar concept, is that we need to assume it first. So when we are coming up against these ideas or have people showing up in our lives, this is a way that we can even, that our paradigm is being shown to us through other people and through other experiences. Okay, so what that means is basically, if something happens in a day, you have an interaction with someone and you're like, it's not very nice, it's like, kind of maybe negative in some way, we can ask ourselves, where did this come from? Did I manifest this? And how did I manifest this? What in my thinking caused this reaction? Okay, so that's an interesting way to look about it our day, right? We are in more control than we think we are. And so many people believe that life is happening to them. Life is not happening to you. You are the creator of your life, okay? You are the creator of your life. You are a spiritual being with an intellectual mind in a 3D physical experience in a human body, right? So we need to understand that concept and take our power back. When we're deciding these goals and these dreams and putting them out, we need to see them as that I am co-creating these. Okay, then the how comes up, right? The how comes up, and all of these reasons why we can't do it come up. Let me give you a little secret key, okay? The how is not up to us. The how does not matter. Most people, when they're making a decision, just like I kind of mentioned yesterday, they will act in the opposite. Okay, they will say, okay, I'm going to use the flight to Guatemala. I want to go to Guatemala. Oh, but it's so expensive. They react. Okay. So what we need to do instead is we need to own it, just like I already told you, right? And so when we are, sorry, I lost my train of thought here. It takes time, right? It takes time. It takes constant spaced repetition to really chisel away at these calcified beliefs, some of them. Saying that, it doesn't need to take a long time. Doesn't that feel like a relief? It doesn't need to take a long time. If you can own your thoughts, if you can study your thoughts and your beliefs, you can change them in an instant. if you can have ownership over them and recognize that you are driving the bus, not them, right? Not your old beliefs. You are not your paradigm. Your paradigm wants to have ownership over you, but you can change it. You can adopt a new identity. You can change those beliefs. Okay. So I want to hear, guys, I want to hear in the chat one how question that came up, or one like old belief that you know is not serving your greater good, your future self, your best version of you. I want to hear something in the chat. What is one belief that came up that you know is not serving you anymore? Hard work equals success. Yes. Okay. This is so good. Just like I said yesterday, like I used to be a workaholic. I used to believe, and my mom, thank you, mom, is a hard worker. Okay. So many people in our lives are hard workers. Are they successful? Thank you, mom. Yep. Love you, mom. Are they successful? What does successful mean? Right? What does successful mean? It's a perception. Everyone's definition of success is different. Okay. But my version of success, you know, I wouldn't say so. You know, like most successful people work tons. They work a lot. They're drained. Okay. I hear this from coaches sometimes too, is that they are burnt out. That is working in the mechanical, my friend. We do not do that anymore. We work in the feminine with the mechanical. Okay, so when we have when we have a desire and we get clear on it and we decide it's already done, and then the how comes up, we get to stop it in the tracks. Oh, interesting. My dreams don't match my kids' needs. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. Because as a mom, I know you already probably know this, but for me, my kids have been my fuel for years, ever since they were born. And they need to see us in our power rising, enjoying, right? When you think of like the dream, your dream day, what does that look like? For me, my dream day is this. is waking up, having a great like morning with my children, jumping on a incredible Zoom training, inspiring, helping other women and people to rise up, challenge their normal, and then go hang out with my kids and be with them, present with them. And that's a belief I have, is the more fun I have, the more money I make, the more I am in my operating through my assumptions that my desires, my wish is already fulfilled, the more I'm in that alignment space, I'm in the vortex, and I am creating, right? Interesting. Okay. So something that happens when we decide, there's something called a bridge of incidents that starts to occur. Has anyone heard of this before? This is why I said the how doesn't matter. The bridge of incidents is basically one step at a time comes to you. Sometimes I get questions from people who live in their 3D physical only. I get questions from people. So, but like a month from now, like, how is this gonna, like, what should we do? Like, 2 Fridays from now, And I'm like, I'm not there yet. Like, I literally am so involved in my 4th dimension, right? Yes. But I am here. I am here now, and I am open, and I'm listening, and I'm following the bridge of incidents. Okay. Those little nudges, those things that come, just like I talked about yesterday. If you want money, you need to be open to listening to the signs that lead you towards that money. Okay. So does that make sense? Like, so it's called a bridge of incidents that happens between you deciding, like actually truly deciding. People can make decisions all day long and not actually decide. Okay. A lot of people are like, oh, I'd love to do this, but I don't have the money. Why do you need the money? You haven't even decided that you want to do it. Once you decide, the money will come. Think about that for a second. Once you decide, the money will come. I heard this yesterday or a few days ago. I'm taking this program at the moment. And she was like, she's talking all about wealth and very wealthy people, right? And my perspective of wealth has shifted a lot over the past, even just few months, right? And so she's like, somebody who is truly wealthy, their bank account can go down to zero and they don't have any negative thoughts around it at all, because they know, just like Bob Proctor said all the time, I don't have any fears or any lack thinking around money, because I know how to create more of it. Like something in that way he said it. And it was so powerful to me. Like so many people, going off on a little tangent here, so many people worry about money. What does that create? And you don't have to, it doesn't need to be money. It can be worry about XYZ. That creates more worry. The universe, you're like, I'm so done with having none of this. No money. I'm so done with having no money. Okay, universe, you're so done with having no money. Okay, let's, give you more of no money. That's the piece. Okay. So I want to lead you guys through a little practice it's called EFT tapping. Who's heard of tapping before? This is going to be very generalized, okay? Generalized is okay, but you might need to fill in the blanks a little bit. Okay, we're going to go through this. It's called, emotional freedom tapping or techniques. It's basically like we're tapping on acupressure points throughout the body, basically the face and this area. And you're basically going to repeat after me, like Simon says. Okay, it's an incredible way to access the subconscious mind. So like I said yesterday, this is something I have included in my practice every single day. If I notice a belief came up and I'm like, I'm ready to reject that, or I'm ready to release that belief, I have it written down and I tap it out. I tap it and I'm like, where did this come from? I get clear on it and then I rewrite it. This is a very powerful practice. It can bring up a lot of emotions. It can bring up a lot of clarity. I like to think of it as having a conversation with your subconscious mind. Okay, so I want you to have a notebook near. Make sure that if something comes up, anything, write it down. Like the thought, something will click. You'll get oh my gosh, that's where that came from sort of thing. Okay. So in a one-on-one session, this is even more powerful. Okay, this is incredible because we can really talk about your exact blocks, your exact beliefs and paradigm that you want to release, and we can really make it personal. Okay. Anyway, generalized. I want to hear in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stuck in your old beliefs do you feel? How stuck in your paradigm do you feel? 1 is like, I am so stuck. There's no light. There's no end in sight. 10 is no stuck, only limitless abundance from all angles. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. So I want you to take note of that. Take note of that stuckness and that feeling of stuck. Okay. Because once we start tapping, we're actually going to do 3 rounds, and we're going to circle back after each round and really check in on that number. Okay. So Rachel's a 3. Kyle, would you like to share too? So follow me. Okay. We'll just do it like that. Tapping on the side of the hand. Take a deep breath. Yes. 4-ish. Okay. It changes. Understandable. Completely understandable. And yes, just in this exact moment, just acknowledging that, I'm feeling pretty stuck. Okay. So I'm going to lead you through some sentences, I guess, some things. And if something comes up and you're like, that's not true to me, that's okay. If you say it, nothing bad's going to happen. What's going to happen is your subconscious mind is going to say, that's not true. And that actually can make you stronger. You're like, oh, that's not true. I used to believe that. Things like that. Okay. And some of them you're going to say, oh yeah, that's true. That's true. And you can write it down if you want to, or, just remember and then write it down after each round. So Tapping on the side of the hand, take a deep breath in. You can close the eyes if you want to. Release out the mouth. And repeat after me. Even though I recognize that I have these old beliefs and these old stories that I know are keeping me small and comfortable, for some reason, I'm still holding on to them. And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I do really have the desire to grow, to develop myself, and to shift these old beliefs, I'm not sure if I'm ready to unpack them yet. But I'd really like to understand where they came from. Let's go to the top of the head. Where did these beliefs come from? Eyebrow point. Did I pick them up from a family member? Side of the eye. Did someone tell me to think this way? Under the eye, all these beliefs. Under the nose, all these perceptions and perceived limitations. Under the mouth, that are no longer serving me. Collarbone point, but are still holding me here. Under the arms, on the side of the ribs, I'm wondering where they came from. Under the chest, I feel like it might be easier to let them go. Wrist point, but it doesn't feel easy. Top of the head. Who am I to have these desires? Eyebrow point. There's part of me that doesn't feel worthy. Side of the eye. There's part of me that doesn't feel like I do enough. Under the eye. I need to work harder. Under the nose. Success is the result of a lot of hard work. Under the mouth. I used to believe these beliefs. Collarbone point, but I don't want to believe them anymore. Side of the, or under the arms. I'm open to seeing these beliefs differently today. And under the chest, I'm open to the possibility of releasing them. Okay, take a breath. I want you to write down anything that came up. Where did these beliefs come from? Did you get a download? Take a second to write them out. So that first round was our kind of like our discovery. We're asking ourselves questions. We're really communicating with the subconscious mind. Love that. It's powerful. And again, the more one-on-one work is more, customized. So I hope you had maybe a couple of things come up where you're like, ooh, got that one from Aunt Sue. Thanks, Aunt Sue, or the resistance that you're feeling. Are you feeling like you're ready to release them? Okay, we're going to do another round. And this round is the forgiveness round. Okay, so I will say not everyone. I kind of have a feeling that you guys here are open and ready to release them. You're here because you want to release them, right? So I think that this will be powerful for you. Somebody though that might be more like, I don't know, that calcium on those old beliefs is strong, right? And there's beliefs around, ooh, I can't be like that because of this, it's strong. Okay. And maybe you're going to need another first round of like discovering more of that. Okay. So we're going to jump into the forgiveness round, assuming that we are ready. We're ready. We're fire, right? So let's tap on the side of the hand again. Take a breath. And then repeat after me. Even though part of me thought that I needed these beliefs to stay safe, I now see that that's not true. I am opening up to the idea that they are not serving me anymore. I am safe without limitations. I am so proud of myself for discovering these old, outdated beliefs. And I'm opening up to the idea of letting them go for good. Even though when I think of releasing these limitations, there's a part of me that gets excited. There's another part of me that gets scared. I'm here to unpack that part of me now. I see that part of me now. And I honor it and respect it. I know that I am safe. And I am developing the awareness that these beliefs and thoughts of limitation are just that, and they're no longer serving me. Let's go to the top of the head. All these old beliefs, eyebrow point, lots I didn't even know I had. Side of the eye. Some of them feel scary. Under the eye. Some of them feel comforting. Under the nose. I'm not sure if I'm ready to let them go completely. Under the mouth. But I'm opening up to the idea of them really not serving me anymore. Collarbone point. When I think of expanding and growing, under the arms, I get so excited. Under the chest, I have so many big goals and dreams. Wrist point. But for some reason, when I go after them, top of the head, I get discouraged and end up back where I started. Eyebrow point. Why does this happen? Side of the eye. Where did these beliefs come from? Under the eye. Do I really need to keep them as mine? Under the nose. No, I don't. Under the mouth. Even though part of me thinks I do. Collarbone point. I see that part of me now. I see that child inside of me. Under the chest, that just wanted to be seen and appreciated. Wrist point. I send her love. Top of the head. I send her reassurance. Everything is going to work out perfectly. Side of the eye. I forgive myself for thinking this way. Under the eye, I am so proud of myself. Under the nose, I'm strong. I'm strong. Under the mouth, I've been through so much in my life. Collarbone point. And all of these old beliefs. Side of the arm. I thought I needed to hold on to. Under the chest, I now see that I don't have to. Wrist point, I forgive myself for thinking these old beliefs were keeping me safe. I now see that I am safe without limitations. And I'm opening up to the idea of rebuilding new beliefs now. Take a breath. Check in with your number on a scale of 1 to 10. Has anything shifted? Are you feeling, okay, I'm not so attached anymore. I'm opening up to the idea of I am in control. I can shift these beliefs. I can shift these perceptions and limitations that I have put on myself, right? I have chosen to accept these beliefs. At some point in my life, somebody told me, an outside influence told me I needed to be this way. I needed to act this way. I needed to live my life this way. I'm now open up to the idea that I don't need to be that way anymore. Okay, let me know in the chat if anything has shifted. We're going to do one more round, and it's affirmations. Okay, my apologies, we're running over time a little bit, but actually we're not because we started late as we had the Zoom room mix up. So often with EFT, thank you, Kyle. Often with EFT, it takes a little bit of processing, especially if this is your first time experiencing tapping. You might be like, wow, what just happened? But it's powerful work when you continue with it. And you guys, you can do it yourself too. You don't necessarily need to be like, have somebody leading you. You kind of see now how it flows. So you can create your own tapping. It doesn't like, you can't really like mess it up per se. I do believe though, what we think about expands. And so if we want to be more in the expansive, positive, limitless abundance, we don't hang out in the fear very long. Okay. We don't get involved with the negative. I don't focus anything. I don't focus anything on negative. I'm always focused on the positive. I acknowledge it. That's what we just did. We acknowledged it. We saw it. We called it out. We sent it love and we forgave it. Right. So sometimes it does take a little bit of repetition to really, truly heal that part of us. Okay. Love that. So affirmations is like my favorite round. And it's one, like when I'm doing my own tapping, I will tap out, I'll tap out like, okay, for some reason I have this belief and like, I recognize this and this, I want to know where it came from. Ooh, now I know where it came from. Like, and I kind of tap it out, but then I do that. And then I'm like, I'm releasing it now. Like I am burning it to the ground. Right. And so, especially with like inner child work, this gets a little bit more intense, and takes a little bit more time to heal and more repetition. And that's okay. Okay, and then I jump right into affirmations. And so I love affirmations, but I will say there is a downside to affirmations that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people are affirming things that they want and they desire and they want to be their reality, but their subconscious mind doesn't believe it yet. So what happens when we affirm something and our subconscious doesn't believe it is when we say it, the subconscious is like, no, you're not. No way. That's not true. And you actually are affirming that. Okay. You're affirming that disbelief, if that's the word. Interesting, right? So a lot of people are like, I'm confident, I am powerful, I am a millionaire, like I am free, I am all these things. And your subconscious mind is like, no, you're not, right? Like, no, you're not. So that's why these two first rounds are really powerful, as we can begin to unpack the beliefs first, forgive them, and then we can affirm our new beliefs. Okay. So this one's wild and free. We're going to go right to the top of the head. Take a breath. Tapping on the top of the head. Say, I'm strong. Eyebrow point. I am confident. As we go through this, you guys, if things come up and you're like, no, I'm not, write it down. Side of the eye. I'm so happy and grateful that under the eye, my life is filled with abundance and joy. Under the nose, I'm so happy and grateful that under the mouth, fill in the blank. My family is healthy. Collarbone point. I'm here for a reason. Under the arms, I'm always exactly where I need to be. Under the chest, I now realize that I am in control. Wrist point, I am co-creating my reality through my thoughts. Top of the head, I am co-creating my reality through my thoughts, my beliefs, and my actions. Eyebrow point, I am a limitless creative being. Side of the eye, what I see on the screen of my mind under the eye will manifest into my physical world. Under the nose, by law. Under the mouth, I feel so grateful to be here. Collarbone point, I feel so grateful to have this awareness. Under the arms, I'm so grateful for, fill in the blank. Under the chest, my life keeps getting better and better. Wrist point, I am deeply and completely committed to showing up as my best self. Top of the head, I am committed to my own personal transformation. Eyebrow point, and I know that I still have limitations. Side of the eye, that will come up from time to time. Under the eye, I now know that my desires are stronger than my limitations. Under the nose, I'm a magnet for miracles. Under the mouth, what I desire and assume to be true will be true. Collarbone point, my children are watching me. Under the arms, and I'm committed to my growth and expansion for them. under the chest. I'm here to be bold. Wrist point. And even though there's part of me that gets scared when I say that, top of the head, I know that I'm safe. Eyebrow point. And I know that all I need to do, side of the eye, each and every day, under the eye, is become a better version of myself. And take a breath. So for me, affirmations make me really excited. They raise my vibration. They bring me into that magnetic state, which we're going to talk all about tomorrow, about how we can become a magnet and attract our desires to us the effortless way. Okay, I'd love to hear, especially if this is your first time tapping, tell me in the chat. And again, you're going to have the recording of this, so you're welcome to come back anytime and try it out again. Okay. Yes. Amazing, Kyle. Awesome. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I feel like I could talk all day about this. So for tomorrow, VIP day, we're going to be talking about closing the gap. Okay. And I have a very powerful visualization meditation that I'm going to lead you through. Rachel, the effortless way. This is what I'm most excited for. I just keep thinking about how tired I am. Ooh, so powerful, Rachel. What if you can rewrite that belief right now? Instead of thinking about how tired I am, what if you're like, I am honoring my body's rhythms right now. I'm recognizing that I am in a season of rest and growth at the same time. Rest does not need to be immobile. Doesn't need to be, I'm doing nothing. I know you don't do nothing. I don't do nothing. I couldn't even fathom doing nothing, right? But it doesn't need to mean that we are operating in the mechanical. We can be hanging out in our fourth dimension, creating all day long. And that is work, right? Okay. So tomorrow we're going to talk about transforming from the inside out, how we do this in conjunction with the law of assumption. Homework today is get deeper into this, get deeper into these beliefs. Where did they come from? What are these perceptions? And remember, those of you on the recording, this is still for you. And remember, I did announce a little bit of a giveaway. So if you want to really dive into this content and this material and this work and transform, you need to do the work. I keep saying in the emails, like, the work is done in the workbook. This is how we process. This is how we integrate the content. If you're just here for education, or sorry, not education, entertainment. We're here for education. If you're here for entertainment, that's a different intention, okay? And that's cool, right? But if you want to really shift yourself, your life, and transform your beliefs from the inside out and transform your outer world, which I know all of you do that are here watching, get out your notebook and start to write it out. Okay, I love, like, today you're going to really dig deep into these beliefs and perceptions. Okay, question everything. Right. Okay. So tomorrow, very exciting day. Also, if you would like to go deeper with EFT, reach out to me. We can do a one-on-one session. I'm offering a discount for everyone that's taking part in Manifest right now, but only for next week. Okay, if you want to book multiple EFT coaching sessions together, then we can talk about that as well and how that carries over. Okay. So I'll send out a link today in the email with the recordings from today, as well as a link to book EFT sessions if you want to. Otherwise, I am so grateful that you're here. You guys on live, especially with me. Thank you. I hope you're having a fantastic day and really, like, get deep in this. get deep in this, go back to your goals and your desires and recognize like they are yours. They are yours for a reason. Okay. Same time, same place. Yes, you're so welcome. Have a great day. Tomorrow, VIP day, you're showing up as your best self. Okay. So I want to ask you, what does your best self mean? How does she take care of herself? How does her morning go? How does she flow throughout her day? How is her energy? What does she say? How does she dress? How does she feed herself and fuel herself? How does she move? Show up as her, okay, for tomorrow. And that's that we're going to practice this, okay? So have a fantastic day, you guys. Thank you so much again for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow.